In the United States, wild boars cause over $2.5 billion in agricultural damage every year. They tear up farmlands, destroy crops, attack livestock, and even pose a threat to humans. Facing this growing menace, Jack and his team decided to launch a life-or-death battle in broad daylight, head-on against a herd of ferocious boars. Join us as we follow their steps and witness how this brutal showdown unfolds. At sunrise, Jack and his crew gathered at the rally point. This time, they came fully prepared with heavy-duty off-road pickups built to cut through rough terrain with speed. Every member was equipped with GPS, radios, and firearms, ready for a grueling day of battle. As soon as they arrived, the team spread out in different directions, scanning for signs of movement. It didn't take long before the first target appeared, a wild boar on the run. Predicting its path, Jack moved swiftly to intercept. He raised his rifle, aimed, and fired. A deadly shot echoed through the forest. The boar collapsed instantly. Meanwhile, on another side of the woods, one of Jack's teammates opened fire as well, dropping another boar charging through the thick brush. More boars quickly emerged. The team split up, chasing them down with relentless determination. Gunshots rang out across the hillsides. Each bullet, each shot, one boar down. One shot, one kill. The fight was far from over. A massive wild boar tried to vanish into the dense tree line for cover, but one teammate spotted it. In an instant, a gun roared. The beast collapsed where it stood. At the same moment, from another angle, Jack caught sight of a new target. Without hesitation, he squeezed the trigger, another clean takedown. Hunting wild boars in rugged terrain is no easy feat. The team pushed themselves to the limit, tracking every sign. From a hillside vantage point, Jack spotted a boar sprinting through the undergrowth. He lined up a shot, but the creature was lightning fast, dodging every attempt before disappearing into thickets. But Jack wasn't one to give up. Patiently, he followed the faint tracks left behind. Persistence paid off. He finally caught up with the fugitive. One precise shot, and the boar fell. Another trophy for today's hunt. As the team regrouped at the base of the hill, it seemed the mission was finally over. But then, a shadow burst out from the bushes. A huge boar had been hiding all along. Jack's reflexes kicked in. He snapped his rifle up, pulled the trigger. That decisive shot marked the final victory of the day. These hunts bring more than just trophies. They play a vital role in controlling the spread and destruction caused by wild boars. But the fight against these beasts is far from over. Jack and his team will have to keep pushing forward to protect their lands and farms. Which moments stood out the most to you in today's video? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next epic hunting adventure. If you think feral pigs are just a problem for the states, if you're in the South like Texas or Florida, look to the northwest of the United States, where Idaho's wilderness is struggling to fight off a fearsome invader, feral hogs. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, a herd of pigs can destroy more than 20 acres of farmland overnight, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in crop damage each season. But the physical damage is nothing compared to the real danger when you encounter them in the dark. Our trip this time started with a warning from a local, and that night we were truly surrounded. In the quiet of the night, despite limited visibility, thanks to the thermal scope, the target was clearly visible. I followed closely, then chose a perfect ambush position and was ready to fire. Just a moment later, gunshots rang out, tearing through the night. The wild boar fell immediately, quickly, decisively. A worthy end for the one who had destroyed the crops and lives of the people here. In extreme excitement, we continued to shoot at other wild boars. I always tried to aim straight at the head or lungs, where I could take down the target most quickly.
Hey.
The herd of wild boars here was really large. In the darkness, through the thermal scope, I could see dozens of dark figures moving silently among the bushes. But we had prepared in advance. One shot, one kill, that was the rule. And to get such shooting technique, we had to go through hundreds of hours of non-stop field training. But our goal did not stop there. Determined to hunt even bigger wild boars, the group continued to look far away, straining their eyes to search for even the smallest movement in the darkness. And then it appeared. A large wild boar, walking slowly with a high alert look. but we were ready. From the ambush position, I kept calm, waiting for it to get within the ideal distance. That was when a single bullet hit it straight in the head. The boar stopped and collapsed on the spot, making the group unable to hide their excitement. So we kept trying, taking down a few more targets one by one, accurately and neatly. At this time, the wild boars seemed to have sensed the approaching danger. They began to panic and run away. However, thanks to the thermal scope, I could clearly observe even the smallest movements. In the view through the thermal scope, I discovered a giant wild boar slowly moving ahead. I quietly approached, trying to get as close as possible to ensure an accurate shot. However, there were quite a few targets who escaped. Not letting the wild boars escape, we immediately divided into groups and quickly chased in the direction the herd had just fled. As soon as we reached the ideal ambush position, I immediately opened fire and took down the first wild boar. After that, I continued to adjust the gun and shoot the others. The herd of wild boars panicked and ran away, hiding under the green trees and disappearing behind the hill. We were still determined to pursue the wild boars to the end. The whole group carefully observed, not giving any wild boar a chance to escape. Gunshots rang out continuously. Therefore, every few minutes, gunshots rang out, signaling that more wild boars had been taken down. The night was late, but we still did not rest. At this time, giant black shadows were leisurely forging in the fields, unaware that death was near. I held my breath, aimed carefully, then pulled the trigger. When I had aimed at the target, I quickly fired. The loud sound made the pigs panic and run away. However, our group of hunters did not let them escape. All carefully adjusted their guns, trying to take down the entire herd of pigs. For months now, people across parts of Turkey and Europe have been living in fear as wild boars suddenly appear in overwhelming numbers. These animals don't just destroy crops, they attack livestock and even pose a threat to human lives. Thousands of hectares of farmland have been torn apart overnight. In response to this crisis, skilled hunters have stepped in, and in today's video, we'll bring you heart-pounding chases and intense face-offs between humans and these destructive wild boars. So without further delay, let's dive right in. The video opens with a hunting expedition led by Tony, a seasoned marksman navigating the rugged slopes of Mount Ararat, Turkey. Despite the dense pine forests and treacherous terrain, Tony patiently tracks the wild boars that appeared just the night before. After more than an hour, the boars finally emerge, briefly visible along a hillside. But there's still too far he needs to get closer. Sticking to the main path, Tony chooses a prime firing position, anticipating their route. The moment his target appears, he fires without hesitation. The massive boar crashes to the ground, completely neutralized. Tony's skill, patience, and nerve, those are his most powerful weapons in this battle. Also in the Rocky Mountain region of Turkey, John, a young but remarkably courageous hunter, faces a fast-moving herd of wild boars weaving through the trees in an attempt to escape. From his perfect ambush position, John wastes no time. As soon as the boars enter his firing range, he opens fire. Every shot hits its mark, throwing the herd into chaos. Some try to turn and flee, but none escape his relentless pursuit. John's speed and reflexes are truly impressive, but what stands out even more is his ability to read the terrain and predict the enemy's path. Absolutely astonishing. Leaving Turkey behind, we now head to southern France, where Jack, a farmer-turned-hunter, found himself with no choice but to take up arms after his fields were repeatedly ravaged. Fast, precise, and decisive shots ended the chaos in an instant. No mercy. Meanwhile, Jack's companions were far from idle. They too had locked onto targets and were giving it their all, pressing forward, waiting for the right moment to strike. After hours of intense tracking and pursuit, several wild boars were brought down. It was the price they paid for the destruction they had caused. In a different turn of events, unlike most hunters, Carlos chose a more strategic path. He spent over 3 days surveying the area and setting up large traps at key spots where wild boars were known to pass. Each trap was carefully prepared, baited with fresh, aromatic corn. Just as he predicted, when the herd appeared, they were quickly drawn in by the well-placed bait. While they eagerly devoured their feast, the trap suddenly snapped shut. Most of a herd was caught instantly. This is a perfect example of how, in the battle against these destructive creatures, it takes more than strength, it takes brains. Wrapping up the video is an absolutely unique moment from Felix, a seasoned hunter living near the Balkan Mountains. During one of his trips, he unexpectedly stumbled upon a group of wild boars. Of course, there's no way he could pass up a rare opportunity like this. Felix raised his rifle, aimed straight at the lead boar, and decisively pulled the trigger. The gunshot echoed through the mountains, startling the herd awake. It was already too late. Felix unleashed a rapid series of follow-up shots, leaving the boars no chance to react. This was likely the most unexpected and effective ambush of his entire life. And that brings today's video to an end. What are your thoughts on today's hunting journey? Drop us a comment below and let us know. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Wild boars possess remarkable resilience and adaptability, making them especially dangerous if not controlled in time. They can devastate crops and threaten the livelihoods of people, particularly in fertile lowland regions. How do you track a creature that lurks in dense forests or rugged mountains? Can you react swiftly enough in situations that last mere seconds? In today's video, follow the hunters on a heart-pounding pursuit across treacherous terrains, where every step holds the potential for surprise. The early morning air enveloped the dirt path leading to the hunting area. David was assigned to a terrain bordering hills and sparse forest, an ideal spot to detect even the slightest movement. And sure enough, in a split second, a wild boar appeared in his line of sight. It darted swiftly through the grass, moving closer. Without hesitation, David opened fire. 2 consecutive shots rang out, short and decisive, enough to end the sudden encounter. In a separate development in northeastern Pennsylvania, Hunter Michael had set up an ambush in a forest of dry branches. Suddenly, the target he'd been waiting for over an hour appeared. Michael's teammate fired the first shots. The boar was hit, but still tried to flee toward Michael. He immediately fired 3 consecutive shots, rendering the prey unable to resist any longer. It's evident that keen reflexes and persistence are among the crucial factors. The hunt wasn't confined to arid lands, extended right into the lush green forest. If Johnny approached the prey in a relatively confined space, then Elvis, in the vast and open grasslands near Cheyenne Wells, considered it a paradise for wild boars. It was very easy for him to approach a group of pigs happily foraging in the wild meadow. The moment of confrontation between the hunter and the wild boar took place in the scorching weather of Colorado. With his keen instinct, Zavis quietly moved to hide behind a dense bush. Contrary to the somewhat unfavorable weather in Colorado, the cool climate of Georgia served as a catalyst that made Jimmy's hunting trip even more successful. From the perspective of experienced hunters, each shot is not merely about hunting prey, but also about protecting crops and preserving the community's livelihood. Today's battle may have come to an end, but their journey continues, where every bush and every footprint could lead to another tense confrontation.
Right.
If you enjoyed today's adventure, don't forget to leave a comment below. We always welcome your feedback and companionship. And if you want to stay updated on exciting hunting trips across the United States, like, share, and subscribe right now. See you in the next adventure. Recently, the destruction caused by wild boars has spiraled out of control in many areas. Herds of dozens of boars not only devastate fields, but also attack livestock and pose dangers to local residents. Today, we bring you raw footage of our mission to combat these destructive beasts, featuring heart-pounding chases, precise shots, and daring moments that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Join us and follow along. In just the first few seconds, we witnessed a perfect takedown right at the edge of the field. While Tom was scouting the area near the field, a massive wild boar suddenly charged out from the bushes. Without a moment to think, he swiftly raised his rifle, a fatal shot rang out, and the boar collapsed just a few meters away. An incredibly quick reflex. But the action doesn't stop there. Watch how Tom handles more targets right after this. In the USAC region, Tom had another unforgettable experience on his wild boar hunting journey. An adult wild boar was trying to escape through dense bushes. Tom, anticipating its path, moved ahead to set up an ambush. As the animal burst out of the thicket, a gunshot rang out, and a precise shot dropped it on the spot. A perfect counterstrike. That's not all. Tom spotted more targets lurking behind the hill. The battle resumed. One shot, one kill. The invading wild boars were swiftly taken down, their bodies scattered across the hills. At this moment, a large herd of wild boars was weaving through the bushes to escape. Tom quickly chose the most advantageous shooting angle. As the herd entered his sights, he fired rapidly, taking down several in the first few seconds. The rest, startled and panicked, scattered in fear. Joining Tony, he shared with us an exhilarating chase after a herd of wild boars. Right in the middle of a wheat field after harvest, a large herd of wild boars was tearing through the remaining stubble. Tony used an off-road vehicle to pursue and cut off the herd, throwing them into chaos. When the distance was close enough, he and his teammates opened fire relentlessly, taking down the two largest boars. You won't believe what you just saw. Don't look away, because Tony isn't done yet. He quickly adjusted his rifle and continued the fight. With combat skills honed over years, eliminating this herd took only a few minutes, swift and decisive. A massive wild boar was cornered by the pack of dogs, but began showing signs of turning to counterattack. Recognizing the dangerous situation, Tony swiftly raised his rifle and took down the beast with a single shot. A moment's delay could have resulted in the dogs, or even Tony and his teammates, being injured. This is the necessary action they take to protect the land, crops, and community safety. When wild boars become destroyers, only timely and precise intervention can prevent disastrous consequences.
Vallahi yukarı sarıyor burada.
The video ends here. That's on today's hunt. Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest videos.